Very good morning to us. This is Henry once again. I want to quickly, you know, bring to us a very important update on the market condition as it has to do with the US dollar index and the cryptocurrencies. Now, before us is the chart of the US dollar index on a weekly time frame. And if you critically look at the chart, all what is happening here in this chart, I have already told us last week that this is what will happen. On the scale of probability, it is more likely for us to see the week, that is the previous week, closing in red and opening this new week in what? Red. Look at this white line that you are seeing there is a resistant line dating back 2016. And I told us that if we close this previous week that just passed, if we close the week in the red, that means this new week that we are entering, we are going to be opening it what? In the red. Meaning what? Weakness, more weakness coming into the dollar index. Take note, I've already told us before that this chart before us clearly indicates to us that the dollar index has experienced a double top on the weekly time frame. And a double top pattern is typically a bearish pattern. Very simple to trade. It's typically a bearish pattern. Since the emergence of this double top pattern on the weekly time frame and with the corroboration of this resistant line dating back 2016, I came to the conclusion that on the scale of probability, we are likely to see more weakness for the dollar index. And that is what has actually played out. Now, if you look at this white line again, it is a trend line dating back 2016. It used to serve as what? A resistance for the dollar index. But we saw the dollar index breaking above it. And we saw that in last week, a red candle closed on top of that line, making that trend line to experience what? More pressure, making it to experience more weakness. The value of dollar index experiencing more weakness, while that trend line experiencing more pressure. And the more pressure is being mounted on a support trend line, the more likely the more likely for that trend line to be broken. And right now, if you take note, we have seen this week opening, in the red also for the dollar index once again, bringing what? More pressure on the dollar index and more weakness for the value of the dollar index. And what does it mean for the cryptocurrencies? It means strength for the cryptocurrencies. That is exactly what it means. Now, if you look at this trend line, you will notice that this week candle already has pierced through it. It has pierced through it, though it has not closed below it, but it has successfully pierced through it. That is weakness. That is sign of weakness on that trend line. And likely that trend line may be flipped to become a resistance for the dollar index in the future. That is what it means. So remember, why we always look at the dollar index is because there is a connection between the dollar index and the cryptocurrencies. Whenever there is weakness in the dollar index, there is strength coming into the cryptocurrencies. Take note, for the past 2 weeks, what have we seen? The past 2 weeks, what have we seen for the dollar index? We have seen what? Weakness for the dollar index. And when we move to the Bitcoin chart, we are going to see what we have experienced for Bitcoin for the past 2 weeks. Now, before I close this live here, I want to show us a chart on a monthly time frame for the dollar index. Let's quickly look at this chart on a monthly time frame for the dollar index. All right. Okay, here we come. Now, if you take note of this chart, you will discover that the body of the candle is attempting to close to come below this trend line, this white trend line. The body of this candle, for this month, this green candle that we are seeing here is attempting to close below that trend line. And if it close below this trend line for this month of June, it's more likely, it is more likely that we are going to see what? We are going to see the following month opening in what? In red. That is the month of July will open in the red. And that will mean so much for the cryptocurrencies. That will mean so much for the cryptocurrencies. When we get to the chart of Bitcoin, you understand more. Now, let me squeeze this chart so that you can really absorb this message and pass it across to us. Let me squeeze this when this trend line is 2016, it may not be too clear for us. Let me squeeze it and see more clearly. If you look at 16, this trend line has been serving as a resistance for the dollar index. And so far, this trend line has not been broken. For this trend line to be broken and to be confirmed, we have to see a monthly candle on top of that trend line and then another monthly candle opening above that trend line for us to confirm that that line of resistance has been successfully broken. But so far, we have not seen that. I have to squeeze the chart for us so that we can see it very clearly. So we can see that in 2019, there was an attempt, but it was not able to. Now, here we are in 2022 again. We are seeing that this trend line is serving as what? A resistance. All right, let us move quickly to the Bitcoin chart. Let's move quickly to the Bitcoin chart before I do this. Let's move to the Bitcoin chart. All right, here we come for the Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin chart. We're going to be looking at it firstly on a weekly time frame. Quickly on a weekly time frame. Yeah, this is of Bitcoin on a weekly time frame. And take note, I said something. I said something in the dollar index chart. And what did I say? I said for the weeks, we have seen weakness in the value of the dollar index. What are we seeing here in the price of Bitcoin? For the past 2 weeks, we have seen strength coming to the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin break down to around the prices of 17,500. And since then, it has come back, recovered to around 21,000. Even though this weakness, this recovery in Bitcoin has somehow also been like weak, it has not been the kind of usual recovery. We are supposed to see a very reasonable relief rally in the price of Bitcoin, which we are yet to see. But then, if you look at, there's some level of recovery. Because if we have seen more strength in the dollar index, it therefore means that we would have seen more weakness in the prices of Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies. But that was not the case, because we saw weakness in the dollar index in the previous 2 weeks, where we also saw strength in Bitcoin in these 2 weeks also. Now, let us see what next for the prices of Bitcoin. What do we expect for what do we expect on the price of Bitcoin? What do we expect that the chart will do? All right, this is just a very new week that we have come into. Remember, whenever we are analyzing our chart, we always bring into consideration what the forces of demand and supply are doing, which are the market participants. And if you look at below here, look at below these bars below here. If you look at these bars here, you will see that last week we closed with a green bar, and this week we are opening with a green bar. What does this mean? If we close this week in a green bar, it means that we are likely to open the month of July. We are likely to open the month of July with a green bar also. And that is going to mean weakness for the dollar index. All right, let us conclude by moving to the monthly chart for Bitcoin, where it becomes even more clearer to us. Somebody will wonder, why are we using weekly? Why are we using monthly? Now, let me tell you something. I have made all the mistakes when it comes to trading in time past. I came into trading 2016, and since from then, the experience have been so much, and then failures have been so much. But now it came to a time that we decided to move away from the hards, and right now we have grown into maturity where we can dissect, explain, break down any charts before us. Now, that is the reason why we look at charts on the monthly time frame and weekly time frame and daily time frame, because it gives us a macro picture of what a particular asset is to do. And that is what the hedge fund guys, that is what the institutional traders, that is what they do. They don't have business with this 15 minutes candle, 1 minute candle, 1 hour candle. They don't have business with all of that. If you want to do the winning trades, which we call campaign trade in Wyckoff principle, you look at chart on a macro time frame and open your trade and relax. I open trade for 1 month. I don't look at the trade. Why? Because I look at my chart on a monthly time frame or weekly time frame. So I've seen the bigger picture. While you are struggling with what is going to happen in the next 1 hour, what is going to happen in the next 2 hours, I have already seen what is going to happen in the next 1 month. So I don't beat myself, trouble myself, put myself under pressure and tension when I open trades. So that is what we do here. All right, now quickly, let us move to what the chart is telling us here, we pay attention to the facts that are on the chart. Take note. The fact on the chart, that is what we pay attention to. If you take note, look at that blue arrow pointing at that candle. If you take note, you will notice that there is a kind of wick there, and the body of the candle is far from that trend line where you are seeing that blue arrow. What does this mean? This simply means that there is strength coming in, and pressure is becoming reduced for that particular trend line. That trend line, that green trend line that you are seeing that blue arrow on top of, that is, pressure is moving off that trend line, which is a support. Pressure is moving off. And if in this month of June that we are having just 3 days, 15 hours left for this month to close, if we close this candle far above, if we close this candle far above this green trend line, what it means is that we are going to open the month of July in what? Green. That is what it means. Sorry for the interruption. We are going to open this month of July in the green. That is what it means. And now I want to draw our attention to historical data once again, dating back about 9 months ago. Pay attention, otherwise you will not understand what I'm doing here. I'm keeping it very simple so that even somebody that is hearing about this for the very first time can also understand what is happening. If you take note, we saw how many green candle here? We saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for 6 consecutive months. We saw green candles moving up for 6 consecutive months. Now, after this long 6 months of consecutive movement to the upside, what did we see? We saw weakness coming in for 3 consecutive months. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We saw weakness coming in, and then after those 3 months, we saw 2 months of what? Relief rally. Let us come again. Let's come, and then we saw another 3 months of consecutive weakness again. 1, 2, 3 months of consecutive weakness, and then after that, we saw what? 2 months of consecutive what? Relief rally. Here we are once again. We have seen 3 months of consecutive weakness, and we're about to see 2 months of consecutive, relief rally again. Fingers crossed. We wait for what the chart is going to show to us. Remember, I have told us if we close this month in the red for the dollar index, it therefore means that next month is likely to open in the red. And if we close this month for Bitcoin chart, if we open the month of July with this bar far above the full body of the candle, far above from this trend line where you are seeing this blue arrow, it therefore means we are likely to open what? In the green in the month of July. Take note of what I'm saying. Otherwise, you get your fingers burnt opening trades anyhow. We don't open trades anyhow. We pay attention to what the charts are telling us before we open our trade. And all of our trade are usually campaign trade, where we open it and leave it for 1 month. Come back at the end of the month, take your juicy profits. All right. This is this for the chart of Bitcoin. Now, before I conclude, I want to talk about the ICANN or to trade software, which I told us of. We are going to be making use of the ICANN or to trade software. We are going to make use of the ICANN or to trade software from the 11th of July. From the 11th of July, we are going to be enjoying this passive income. The ICANN or to trade software, like I have told us, does not exist right now in the market. This model, the model of this software does not exist right now in the market. We are the ones that have it. I told you of this ICANN or to trade software. It's a software that duly registered with the Security and Exchange Commission, but when the US government transferred the right to oversee digital assets, including cryptocurrency, to the Commodity Futures and Trade Commission, we needed to start fresh registration. We needed to start fresh documentation. So that is what made us to start a little bit late. But now the documentations are completed with the Commodity Futures Trade Commission of the US, and we are due to launch officially by July 11. Now, you don't need money to trade with this software. You don't need subscription. You don't need to buy anything. All what you need is register with the icon to trade. Register after registering with icon to trade. I will drop the link below this video. You register with the icon to trade. After registering, you verify your account, and on the 11th, what you are going to do, the exchange that we are going to be using for the trading, we are going to be using a number of exchanges, and any of the exchanges that we are going to use, if you have either of any of them, you are depositing your funds in your wallet there. You deposit your funds in your wallet and connect your wallet to the account of the trade software, and you start trading. The software is going to be for free for the next 1 month plus. For the next 1 month plus, it's going to be for free. So you are going to be using it to make money for free. Take note, you are not sending your money to anybody. Your money remains in your wallet, where you and you alone have access to. Nobody have access to that your wallet. So you're not sending your money to anywhere. The risk is zero here. You just connect with your API, you connect to the software, and you start trading, and you make your money every day. Now remember, today in our country things are getting tougher, so we need to diversify our sources of income. If I cannot do the trade, we'll be giving you $2, $3, $5 every day. At the end of the month, I'm sure it is going to be giving you some form of relief. That is why we are bringing icon to trade software before us. Take note once again, the model of this software is not available in the market, and when it comes out to the public, it's going to be very viral. So those of us that are having access to it now is because I have access to it. That's why you're having access to it. You're having access to it for free. You're having access to it for free for the next 1 month plus. So that is about icon to trade. I want to say a very big thank you to all of us, and also I want to encourage us, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and then scroll down. Also turn on the notification bell, click on all, so that as we upload our videos, you get them real time. Thank you very much. I remain my humble self, Henry. Bye for now. See you in my next video.